Wait a minute.
Y'all crazy bitch. R-D-I-V-O-R-C-E. You gotta fight. A brown-eyed girl.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce, Take 3. But we're there. We've made it. Everybody's alive and well.
Take 3 a day later.
Jamie has something to say.
I need to move real quick.
Where are you going? All of this time, and now you have to move. Yeah. Because you weren't looking at yourself.
Is that all you're going to move? Is just adjust over a little?
Yeah, because I didn't realize this leg was here, and my leg was getting smashed.
I have that problem all the time. My name is Denny Browans. I thank you for being with us. This is a big episode for us.
When it's that small, you'll forget about him.
That was good.
You didn't deserve that.
I did not deserve that.
You've done nothing but put blood, sweat, and tears into this goddamn studio.
That's exactly right. So we're finally there. We finally arrived to the big Casey Anthony discussion.
So ready.
That we knew we were going to have eventually, right? So let's go ahead and introduce the players. I've been thinking about this for a minute. To my left, once again, and still dumb as ever, it's my ex-wife, Jamie.
You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. You ruined everything, you stupid, stupid bitch. You're just a lying little bitch who ruins things and wants the world to burn.
Bitch.
That's me.
You're a stupid
God,
bitch.
you're a bitch.
And lose some weight.
Say hello, Jamie.
Hello.
Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I was still dancing.
That's not very nice. You should not say that.
How was your week this week?
Uneventful.
So it was good.
Yeah.
Do you still have your job?
Currently.
Barely.
Almost done. Be done. I don't honestly have no clue when I'm going to be done.
You're probably done now.
I call it a week after Christmas. Week after Christmas.
Like, mentally, I'm done now.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you've said it for the world to hear.
Physically,
You're still
I'm
showing
not.
up most of the time.
I'm showing up, but
Yeah,
now this
showing
sometimes
up doesn't
starting
mean
next week, I have to start training, so I've got to be on my A game.
You were quiet quitting for quite some time.
I was quiet quitting.
In between stepmom number 2 and stepmom number 3, it's young Braden Browan.
Hey, peckerhead, maybe you should try a bit harder, 'cause you've got shit for brains. I bet in this life that you won't get much farther.
Oh, I thought it was smarter.
'Cause you've got shit for brains.
Say hello, Braden.
It's much farther.
Further, yeah, but I thought it was you won't get much smarter.
Well, that's
so
true,
much
too.
better.
Yeah, he's not
Either
gonna
way
get much
works.
smarter.
Braden, what do you have to say for yourself?
Hello. If
You're
I'm
stupid.
allowed.
We're tired of it.
You're not. Nobody's tired of it.
Nope.
I'm tired of this camera freezing on my face in weird positions.
Is it freezing on your face?
Well, it's better than the one.
No, it's done that again too.
Oh.
I'm a great time. I am.
Are you sure?
I'm a great time.
Says who?
You.
I don't know when it's ever been decided that you were a great time.
What
The
if every
fact that I
time?
keep coming back.
What if every time my watch buzzed and said I needed to do 46 more steps, I just got up and started walking in place? Would you be pissed?
Would
I
you
would
rather-
say,
You
I
would
say
rather
that's
just
Jamie.
take your watch off and wave it around. Don't be
That's
silly.
true.
What if your watch told you that you need to do 46 push-ups right now?
One
What
of
would you do?
my favorite
say-
stories was you were over here at the house with Audrey, sleeping on the couch, and she said,
I was in a
"Mommy,
competition.
have I done enough steps?" And you said, "No, keep walking." You had her walking around the living room for your steps.
That's because I was in a competition.
And you were cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
And to my right, yawning to her little heart's content.
For the
There's
19th
something
time.
about the words you're saying that make me start yawning.
We have new lights, and you still yawn. Nothing is any different.
No, my eyes
It's
are-
Amanda.
I'm a bad bitch and I got bad anxiety. People call me rude cause I ain't letting them try me. Saying I'm a hoe cause I'm in love with my body. Issues, but nobody I can talk to about it. They keep saying I should get help, but I don't even know what I need. They keep saying speak your truth, and at the same time say they don't believe. Man, excuse me while I get into my feelings for a second. Usually I keep it in, but today I gotta tell it. Not that anybody gives a fuck anyway, but everybody talking shit probably sucks anyway. Yeah, I don't even know how I feel. I don't even know how I deal. Today I really hate everybody. And that's just me being real. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Bad bitches have bad days too. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Bounce back, high bad bitch, always do. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch
Bad
can have bad
bitches
days.
can have bad days. Say hello, Amanda.
Hello.
Please, can you just do a little bit of studying of that intro?
I will.
a
I'm
little.
not going to try it until I know it. And then
I need you like
To
eight,
deliver.
8 Mile
Monday,
style.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I need 8 miles. Like I need
Okay.
Eminem. Like Not Afraid. I need that. Okay.
Could you bring a little not afraid to that?
She's too busy yawning.
Well, she does yawn.
No, if she
like
learns
it's her
it, she
job.
could.
Yeah, if I learn it.
Yeah. So this week we're talking about Casey Anthony, which we all know, right? I keep teasing that because I think this is such an important discussion, especially now as it relates to, the documentary being what it is and getting the attention that it is. We have new equipment, so if you see me stalling, it's because all of my icons moved again.
His icons moved because he doesn't have 4,000 of them on his screen anymore.
Are you ready?
While you're doing that, oh, never mind. I'll do it after fantasy.
Are you ready for your fantasy update?
Yes. No.
Yes.
How do you say yes and then?
I forgot I actually had to do something. I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
Well, you have a minute. Here we
just
go.
roll.
It is time for the TGC SOD Family Fantasy Football League update, brought to you by the lovely and mellifluous Amanda. Amanda, I know you want me to turn it down.
Yes.
So there you're down. Take it away.
All right, so we have to celebrate. My losing streak came to an end during week 12. Going against Garrett's Double D Cubs versus VIP, 150 to 95. Amanda pulling out the win and the second highest score of the week.
Pulling out the wind?
The win. I'm super hard trying not to yawn. I don't know why I'm
I think
yawning
you
so
said
much.
D.
And it's so loud.
Do you like the D?
No. Then we had Your Mom's Bed Rocks Hard versus Bake It Till You Make It. Jamie barely pulled off a win over Brandon.
But I
did. Yes, she did. So Jamie's on a 2-week win streak, her record being 9-3, Brandon's being 2-10. And then we had Rushville Enablers 7-5 versus Bernstein Busted Biscuits, also 7-5.
Busted Buskets.
Busted Buskets, that's right. With Denny pulling out 169 over 121 over Braden, delivering a nice ass beating there.
Brayden, what happened?
I mean, 121's a solid score.
Brady,
You
did
just
you-
had a better score.
Tyler Higbee was
I have-
on the field all game.
I have a question.
He scored 0.
How many times have you beat me?
Huh?
How many times have you beat me this season?
Enough to be tied for first place
Well, you've beat me zero.
in the West.
You're not tied for first place.
Yes, we are.
Oh, no. I am first place.
1-1, and
Who's in the top spot?
Look at our numbers.
Who's in the top spot?
But if it's a tie in record, it gets beaten by points for.
Which I'm obliterating you. Son,
He just
you
now
need to-
discovered this.
You
He
need
said,
to
"Oh shit."
understand, I am your father.
You are beating
will
me by
never beat me.
200 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bueno.
So next week we have week 13. We have VIP versus Bake It Till You Make It. That is going to be a close game. Currently projected 126.3 to 126.3. So our projection is tied. We're 50-50. We both have 7 people left to play. You have 19 points. I have 9, but your quarterback is played. I had my kicker and defense play.
I know. I know.
So that'll be the
I'm
showdown
scared.
for this week.
Josh Allen did subpar.
Bernstein Busted Buskets versus Double D Cups. We have Both looking like they're going to have a low-scoring game, 114 to 108.
Will be a low-scoring affair.
Maybe Braden will pull out the win, but
Time will tell.
doubtful.
I'm the only person in the league that's 100% guaranteed to go into the playoffs.
Shut
You
up.
are?
Shut up.
I don't
the
think
playoffs
that's true.
are next week.
How's that work?
Well, I can tell you right now,
I don't know.
Brandon isn't going.
I can tell you guys.
That's not true. Brandon has 2 wins against me.
Nope.
the
but
playoffs
he's
are next week.
0%.
2 weeks.
Do I
Nope.
have? Do I have a percentage?
Yep.
We are
You
next
are
week.
30%.
What's my percentage of going into the playoffs?
99.
Oh, I'm going to the playoffs.
And then Braden's is 88. And
Brayton could not go to the playoffs.
Garrett is 83.
I'm going.
So how am I just 30? And then everybody else is in the 80s?
You
No.
have to run the table.
No one is hearing me. The playoffs are next week.
No, we heard you. I
Yeah,
also
we
heard
We were
choose
all
to-
ignoring
We
you.
choose to ignore you.
And then we have Denny versus Brandon this week. Brandon obviously not playing, so no one cares.
Yeah. Hopefully I can pull off a win. So, again, we want to thank you for joining us in the Every Joke Has a Little Truth studio. It's what we do. We've done a little revamping. I've got some new equipment
A
in
lot
here.
of revamping.
Once again,
Holy cow.
we've rearranged it. I hope you can see a difference in the camera angles and all that stuff. We're trying to up our game to up yours.
Can you see a difference in the camera angle, Denny?
Let me see. I don't see that. Your forehead is really shiny.
Super big.
And there's some
What's
dimples.
going on with that?
Stop.
No, I'm.
My mom
She'll
used to
have to
joke and
move.
tell me they were horns.
That's
Oh
where
my
That's
God,
I-
your mom
rude.
said that
I
to
pulled
you?
them out, actually. So this week, this week the discussion is Casey Anthony.
Oh, let's get into
We're doing it right now.
Let's do it.
So let's
we have
just
an intro?
let's take a poll.
Yeah, I was just. Are we gonna do?
Are we doing the intro to Casey Anthony?
No.
Is that the intro?
That's your intro.
Oh, okay.
Let's do a quick poll of the room before watching the documentary. Jamie, innocent or guilty?
That's a loaded question. So am I allowed to
No,
elaborate?
it's not. Before you watch the documentary.
What
so,
did you think before yesterday?
So before you saw it,
I've never thought she killed her. I've never once thought Casey Anthony actually killed her daughter.
Okay.
So if that means innocent, I thought neglect, yes.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's kind of where you're at with this.
Well, no, I'm just saying, do I think she killed her daughter? No, I do not believe she killed her daughter. Do I believe she is somewhat responsible for her death? Yes.
Isn't that like being somewhat pregnant?
No, it's not.
No.
Absolutely no. And I would elaborate, but I'm not allowed to. So, Braden, answer the question. I will elaborate later.
You were what later?
Elaborate.
That's not what you said.
I know.
Braden?
I thought she was guilty.
Okay.
Okay.
Amanda,
before the documentary, I thought she was guilty
you thought she was guilty as well. So
of murder specifically.
Oh, wow. So you thought she murdered her child?
Yeah, same here.
Oh,
Same
okay.
here.
there was no doubt in my mind that
Really?
she murdered her daughter, and I will tell you there is still no doubt.
So
in my mind.
I thought she had.
That she did it.
I thought she had snapped. Like it just got overwhelming. Young mother, rough situation, no father in the picture. And again, I had very little. Like we just saw media.
That's what I'm saying. I think the media.
2011 was my senior year of high school when the court case was going on. So that's the only knowledge of it that I had. And to me, it just seemed like a young mother who decided she didn't want to be a mother anymore, but didn't know how to get out of it. And she kind of just lost her shit in a
Yeah.
moment of rage and then tried to cover it up.
So I understand that. And I think the media really pushed that because they.
I think the media made it seem more premeditated. To me, it seems more like snapped.
Well,
Yes.
oddly enough, like a lot of people older than me, and I've said this to you guys, but now we're finally on air, so I can say it now. But like you remember where you were on 9/11. Pop.
Yes.
Amanda, you remember where you were on 9/11. You do too. This is sort of my
And
equivalent.
if you
to
call us older
9/11.
people again, you'll remember 9/11.
Well, just older than me, but this is sort of my equivalent to 9/11. And I remember exactly where I was when she was found not guilty. I was with you at Med 1 on 31, and I was getting a physical for football, and we were watching it while we were waiting.
So I remember, I remember knowing she was going to be found innocent, only because this type of stuff has always interested me, right? So, like OJ, I watched that one, which the OJ trial is the only one I really believe was more popular or more followed than this one.
Yeah.
This one captivated the entire country. And
Do you think Daryl Brooks is more or less?
Absolutely.
Oh, much less.
Much less.
less. Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah, he's a loser, pain in the ass, but he
This is true. This
didn't
moved people.
This
people
didn't
were rioting.
grab the country quite like that. So we have. I knew she was going to be found. I thought she would be found innocent because I thought that Jose Baez, who was her attorney, had done a nice job painting a picture, especially with the, hey, baby fell in the pool and drowned. And I thought that all you need is a
sliver.
preponderance of the evidence.
Because
Yeah.
it's the death penalty. So if there is any question at all, if they are innocent, if there's a possibility of something else, then you can't give someone the death penalty for that.
Right.
The craziest thing about all of this is the just everything that she is putting against her father. Because, like, in my age,
We're going to talk about that.
but in my age when this was coming out, I had no idea that
You
any
never
of that
heard
was
it.
a thing.
Never heard
yeah.
of it.
See, I
This
always,
is my first time hearing it.
from day one, always had an ick feeling about him. I did.
I don't know that I did.
The way he...
The way his eyebrows are fucking 15 shades darker than the rest of his hair.
No, just the way he...
No, everything about him is ew.
Yeah, because...
He's a creep.
Yeah, he wants to be...
The entire family. Mm-hmm. So to me, the entire family has a off dynamic. And when you look at an entire family that really looks fucked up, you have to go to the parents for that.
Well, and, you have the mother,
You have to look at the top.
asking where she is. And then, in a lot of videos, the father would just sit back and he'd have no expression. He'd have no,
Like he's bored.
right.
And I did not know that he was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
that there were so many things that you didn't hear about until the documentary.
But
that
I do believe
weren't
that
well spoken of like they should have been.
she has contradicted herself so many times.
What was that?
Contradicted herself.
Yeah.
Contradicted herself so many times since this whole documentary came out. And I think, do I think she's 100% innocent?
Absolutely not.
No.
31 days is 31 days regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's start. Let me play something here. The mother, the call from jail.
Hey, sweetie.
Well, I just saw your nice little cameo on TV.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Which one? I did 4 different ones, and I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen 1 or 2 so far.
You don't know what my involvement is and stuff?
Casey.
Mom.
What?
No.
I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart. You're not telling me where she's at.
Because I don't fucking know where she's at. Are you kidding me?
Casey, don't waste your call to scream and holler at me.
Waste my call sitting in, the jail?
Whose fault
where
is
bunks are?
Whose fault is you're sitting in the jail? You're blaming me that you're sitting in the jail?
Not
Blame
my
yourself
fault.
for telling lies. You mean it's not your fault? What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart? If you'd have told them the truth and not lied about everything, they wouldn't.
Do me a favor, just tell me what Tony's number is. I don't want to talk to you right now. Forget it.
I don't have his number.
We'll get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house. I saw Mallory's car was out front.
Who's
It was
Tony?
just on the news. They were just live outside the house.
Isn't it
Boyfriend.
They were. Well,
Can you get Tony's number for me so I can call him?
Hey,
Hey, can you give me Tony's number?
I can do that. I don't know what real good it's going to do you at this point.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay.
Because I called to talk to my mother, and it's a fucking waste. Oh, by the way, I don't want any of you coming up here when I have my first hearing for bond and everything else. Like, don't even fucking waste your time coming up here.
You know, you're making it real tough for anybody to want
this her
to
brother?
try to even assist you with giving you
See, that's
somebody's
just
phone number.
every single
You're not
thing.
even letting me finish.
Well,
I
because-
really...
Let's go ahead.
You're asking me for Tony's phone number so you can call him, and then you immediately want to start cussing towards me and saying, don't even worry about coming up here for all this stuff and trying to cut us out.
I'm not trying to cut anybody out.
I'm not going around and around with you. You know, that's pretty pointless. I'm not going to put everybody else through the same stuff that you've been putting the police and everybody else through for the last 24 hours and the stuff you've been putting Mom through for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I'm done with that. So you can tell me what's going on. Christina would love to talk to you because she thinks that you will tell her what's going on. Frankly, we're going to find out. Something, whatever's going on, it's going to be found out. So why not do it now? Save
There's
yourself
nothing to find out. There's absolutely nothing to find out. And that's even what I told the detective.
Hang on, pause real quick.
You know, everything.
What did he say about everything you've been putting Mom through for the past 4 or 5 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Because this was supposedly
it
right
took
after
a
they had
month for her to be.
But
for her to tell
supposedly the
police.
mother didn't know. So what do you mean that you've been putting Mom through for the past 4 or 5 weeks if
Exactly.
if Mom didn't know she was not missing?
Mm-hmm. So
It's not 4 or 5 weeks because this happened.
He's alluding that she's
in jail before her bond hearing, so this is first.
But the last 4 or 5 weeks, she was staying with Tony
and putting Mom through
this for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
And it was those 31 days.
Well, so here's the deal.
So, but how does he even know about the 31 days or that she's putting her mother through anything?
That's what we're saying.
Because the idea is, do you think that Mom and Dad haven't said, "Where's Kaylee"?
Yeah, I think that she played it. She didn't ask right away, "Where's Kaylee?"
Who didn't?
The mom.
So even if she didn't, what if it took a few days? Hey, where's Kaylee?
She didn't ask until
she's with Zanny.
Was later.
Yeah. That's this. I'd never heard like this far into the call. So my point is, Mom knew that something was wrong for 4 or 5 weeks and waited.
Mom was probably
31
saying, "Where
days.
is Kaylee?
Right.
Where is Kaylee?
Right. And when you
Where
don't
is
get
Kaylee?
when you don't get an answer, when you don't know or you feel like you're being lied to, you're not going to make a phone call.
Could you imagine
for
my
30
mother
days?
not knowing where any of her grandkids and how
and-
she would be?
Well, yeah, but
not
if,
even that. Imagine any of you guys. If
yeah.
I go like
But
2 or 3 days without talking to you guys,
if Casey Anthony does not, if Casey Anthony says, "Look, Mom, she's with Zanny," and she keeps after her, "Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone," that makes total sense to me.
Well,
no, not for you to not make a phone call.
Well, who's
because
she
they
gonna
were
call?
Not even
they
that,
were the
but
police. I think my
what is
granddaughter's
she-
missing.
What is she putting her mother through?
Asking questions, she's probably being belligerent. Do you hear how she was talking to her mom?
Yes.
She just watched her mom
Throw
and then
her under the bus.
and then her mom bragged about how she's been on TV 4 different times. That's
Yeah.
what that's what I hear.
I don't think it was bragging. Here's the
Which
thing.
one? I haven't
Which
seen.
one?
I've
That's
been on
because these
4 of
people are
them.
living in their house, and they can't even walk out their front door without being
She didn't.
attacked.
She didn't say it annoyed of being on TV.
Oh, I don't think we can. Look,
Okay.
even if I bought into what you guys are saying, even if I were dumb enough to say, not saying you're dumb. Even if I agree and say, "Oh yeah, it started here," like
No, I don't.
it's way too early. Mom still doesn't. Later on, she starts throwing everybody under the bus. Mom does.
Right. I think I'm just
including her
saying.
husband.
I'm just saying. Mom's main concern is not Kaylee. Mom's main concern is not Casey. Mom's main concern is getting on TV.
No,
Yeah.
I don't agree.
I agree with that because for her, so I don't think the mom knows where Kaylee is.
Well, let me say one other thing before I forget it. Okay, let's flip the script. She is on TV, but at this point, she's on TV saying, "Here's my granddaughter. Have you seen her?"
Mm-hmm. And I don't think she knows where she's at.
Right.
No, I don't think Mom knew where she was, but I also don't think like there's.
She
no,
wasn't excited.
There's no
she wasn't
way,
saying, "Oh, it's my 15 seconds."
I think later on she starts
trying
that.
to find. She's trying to find her granddaughter. Let's listen to more.
I have no clue where Kaylee is. If I knew where Kaylee was, do you think any of this would be happening? No.
Anyway, you only got a couple minutes with us, so I'm not going to let you completely waste it. Here's Christina. She thinks she can get through to you.
No, I want Tony's number. I'm not talking to anybody else.
Hello?
Hi, I'm glad everybody's at my house. I'll have to call you later. I'll have to call somebody to get your number. Do me a favor, get my brother back because I need Tony's number.
Okay, is there anything I can do for you?
I'm sitting in jail. There's nothing anybody can do right now.
Well,
True.
I'm just trying to be...
Oh, I know you are, honey. I absolutely know that you are, and I appreciate everything that you're trying to do, but I'd like to call Tony. He's not at my house, is he?
No, it's just me and your parents and Lee.
Okay. Well, can you do me a favor and get my brother back or get the number from him, please?
Does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No. Nothing.
Okay, so why
Wait
do you
a
want to
minute.
talk to Tony? You probably don't want to tell me, do you?
Huh?
You probably don't want to tell me, do you?
What do you...
No,
I
fuck
didn't hear what
them.
you said.
Fuck them.
Does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No, Tony had nothing to do with Kaylee.
Oh, so why do you want to talk to him?
Because
Pause. Why is she so fast to say he's got nothing to do with it?
Because she was asked.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. But she's like she doesn't want to give that.
But she doesn't know where Kaylee is.
Go ahead. God.
I don't know what you were trying to say.
My boyfriend, and I want to actually try to sit and talk to him because I didn't get a chance to talk to him earlier because I got arrested on a fucking whim today because they're blaming me for stuff that I never would do, that I didn't do.
Okay. Well, I'm on your side. You know that,
Oh,
right?
I know that. I just want to talk to Tony, get a little bit of...
Casey, you have to tell me if you know anything about Kaylee.
Sweetheart,
if anything happens to Kaylee, Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything happens to that baby.
Oh, my God.
Who
Calling
is that?
you guys?
Her sister-in-law.
Huge
Okay.
waste. Honey, I love you. You know I would not let anything happen to my daughter. If I knew where she was, this wouldn't be going on.
So how come everybody's saying you're lying?
Because nobody's fucking listening to anything that I'm saying. The media completely misconstrued everything that I said. The fucking detectives told them fucking bullshit. They got all of their information from me, yet at the same time, they're twisting stuff. They've already said they're going to pin this on me if they don't find Kaylee. They've already said that.
Well,
they arrested me because they said that...
Yeah, because they said that the person that you dropped Kaylee with doesn't even exist.
Because, oh, look, they can't find her in the Florida database. She's not just from Florida. If they would actually listen to anything that I would have said to them, they would have had their lead. They maybe could have tracked her down. They haven't listened to a fucking thing that I've said.
Do you know that whoever has Kaylee, nobody's going to get away with it?
Is that Zanny, the babysitter?
That's who. This is before she had come clean and said, "Yeah, I don't work here. Yeah, Zanny doesn't exist."
She's in jail right now because she lied to the police. That's that call. That's the first phone call.
Right.
She's not arrested right now for Kaylee's death. She's arrested because
They
she gave
haven't
false
found-
informing to the police.
But
They
right,
haven't found Kaylee.
she was still doing it though. She just
Right.
said if she even looked in the database and then in the thing that came out,
She was
just
still
now,
lying
she said
to
it wasn't
yes,
a thing.
Yes.
to her family. At that point, she was still lying to everyone.
She took. Here's what you don't know, Braden. She took the police to her job at Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She walked them into the doors of Universal Studios, waved at people that waved back with the detectives with her. She continued to walk like long enough that the detectives were like, "Are we ever getting to your office?" They go down a hallway where
It's a
they
dead
get
end.
to the end,
Mm-hmm.
and she turns and she says, "Okay, I don't really work here."
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look.
But the part that neither of you have gotten to or seen, I guess you saw a little bit of it yesterday. I know you never got to it. Is she talks about, and again, I'm not saying that everything, not all of the things she's saying are adding up, but she's being
Not
abused.
adding up. This is like we're doing multiplication, and somebody
No,
breaks
let her
out
finish. Let her
a
finish.
subtraction and says, "Here's the answer."
No. So she is talking about how she has had to lie to her parents in order to hide money so that she can save money to try and move out.
And I don't agree with that.
Because she was, you don't think that an abusive, if she does, as a 19-year-old just having a baby, your father
The
abused
baby's
you.
2 years old, by the way.
Not when she had her. She was 19. The father gets kicked out for cheating. For a year and a half, I think he didn't live there.
Mm-hmm.
And then moves back in. And then that's when she said, I had to start hiding everything because I knew I had to get out. She changed her job so her mom didn't know where she was working. Her mom questioned her
So
constantly
what
about
you're
money
saying is
she had.
she got confused and went to Universal Studios.
No,
and
she
walked the
she
hallway
worked-
until someone
No,
said,
because she told her parents that
No.
she still worked there.
Yes. Well, if you would let me finish.
"Okay, all right."
She did work at Universal Studios. She quit and went and worked somewhere else so
At a
that her
bar.
parents didn't know where she worked.
But they weren't there.
She wasn't.
Her parents weren't there when the police were there.
What?
No, listen,
You're
you're
not-
missing it. She had to lie to her parents and tell her she was working at Universal Studios. So when the cops came to her, I work at Universal Studios.
She had to tell the same lies.
Okay, so why did she get in the car with the police and ride to Universal Studios?
Why does anybody
open the door, get out,
deny until you die?
But deny, and then you get out of your car and you walk in a building. Was she looking for an office door that was open so she could walk in and say,
no, she didn't
"This
know
is my
what to
desk"?
do.
But that's the point. That's why I'm saying this person will lie at any cost.
Because she grew up having to lie.
That's all she knew.
Yeah, but this is a different level, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
And she realized that, and now what do you do when the only thing you know how to do is lie?
You continue the lies.
So when you walk through the front doors,
I mean,
and you're like, shit, they're still
well,
here.
maybe
They're
if I
still
go,
coming.
look, maybe
no,
if I go
because
in,
it's not funny to her. She is fight or flight. What do I do?
Yeah,
because she doesn't know how to tell the truth. She knows if she tells the truth, she's still thinking Kaylee's alive because her dad is in her ear telling her that she's okay, which is her story, and there is no documentation or anything that we have heard or seen that he is.
Well, he does say she's going to be okay.
Well, he said that, but she goes on and says, hold on. She goes on and says that he said, keep doing what I'm telling you to, and Kaylee will be okay.
And you'll be home.
And you'll get to come home. Like he's trying to but there's no proof of that. That's her words.
That statement.
Because
I've heard all these lies. I've heard all of these other things.
It's on the documentary.
It's not.
Yes, it
I've
is.
never heard him say, just keep doing
That's
what I say.
I said. I said there is nothing documented.
She just said it was.
No, she's backing up that I'm saying that Casey said it.
No, I know Casey says
she heard it.
When you hear the conversation,
get pissed off all you want. She says she heard it. She didn't hear it because it wasn't said.
When Casey is talking to her dad, he says she's gonna be okay.
Yes.
I think she's gonna be okay, and you'll be home soon.
So let me ask everyone a question about that. If you watch the documentary, and it was spoiler alert. Sorry, if you haven't watched the documentary,
yeah,
we told you
that
to.
In the beginning.
But here's the thing.
We didn't think about that.
Casey Anthony's description is she was asleep in her room. And Kaylee was with her. She turned on cartoons, shut the door, locked it because she didn't want anybody to come in and diddle her and her child while she was sleeping.
She doesn't even say that, though.
She does. She said she had to protect her child.
She alludes to it.
And I'm not trying to make light of it. I just think it's a stretch to insinuate that he's going to come in the middle of the afternoon while you're sleeping. Hold on. So she says she's in bed, and she wakes up to her father shaking her vigorously, and he says, "Where's Kaylee? Where's Kaylee?" And she says, "Well, she was right here. We were asleep." He says, "Well, she's not here." And they get up and they look, and she goes into the living room, and before long, Dad emerges carrying a lifeless.
No, Casey Anthony runs outside, checks the playhouse, and she's outside. She turns around to the playhouse to her dad holding the wet.
Either
body.
way, brings a wet body of a child, puts her on her lap and says, "You did this."
Yes.
No one's called the police, including this mother that loves her daughter.
Exactly.
No one's called the ambulance. Oh, my God, save my child. And she, at her own description, she was cold. She was soaked. She wasn't moving. And she didn't try CPR.
No. So
and she sat there forever.
Okay.
At her own admission, she sat there holding the child until her dad came and took her.
Right. Okay. So time out right there. So stop right there. When I called you, okay, and I said, you need to get home. They think Audrey has cancer. From the time you left the aquarium and you got home, how much do you remember?
Not very much.
Not very much, right? Because you're shell-shocked. You're like, what the fuck? Right? If Casey Anthony is...
If you are presented with your dead child...
Yes. If Casey Anthony is guilty of something...
Your mind will do fucked up things to protect you, including if the person who has controlled your entire life... I'm not going to say trusted or protect you because I don't think he did, but he has controlled every aspect of her life up until that point, says she's okay, and takes her from you... Your mind, it's not right, but your mind will allow you to believe that to protect yourself.
But that's not even what I'm saying. If Casey Anthony is guilty of anything, it's not going
negligence.
It's negligence. It's neglect of a child because she falls asleep. Now, listen, I've fallen asleep with Audrey with me millions of times. We
Mark
all
the
have.
time.
Why?
I'm using it in court.
Shut up.
I can't see the time. I thought you were serious.
I've fallen asleep many times. You
Mark
wake
the
up.
time again.
You don't. If she's guilty of anything, it's not stopping her dad from taking the child.
It's right.
And
right, we all,
calling the
we
police.
all want to sit here and say, in that moment, we
What
would
we would do.
start CPR. We would call 911, and I believe that in this room, everyone in here would be able to act. But I also have to try and think as a pretty fucked up 19-year-old who had just had a baby. Now she's 21. Was she 21 when Kaylee died?
Probably. Yeah, she was in bars.
She was 21. She had just turned 21. She's young. She's fucked up. She is just presented with her dead child. She's not thinking clearly.
But then her dad takes her and says she's going to be okay. Right. It's going to be okay.
He
and
says
leaves.
it's going to be okay.
No.
Now, let me just say this. I have two things I want to say. Thing one, if let's say I buy into all of that, and let's say that I agree, and Dad comes in and he gets the baby, then why are we painting? Is it possible that Dad came in, took the baby because oh my God, my daughter lies, my daughter does this, but now my granddaughter's dead. My daughter can't go to prison at this moment. Like maybe. So he's thinking, I've got to get rid of the body.
Nope.
I'm going to protect her. Because we don't know. But I'm just saying
I
do think just as possible.
I do think that's just as possible, and then it spiraled out of control just as
here's
quickly.
the other side of it. This is the other side of it that because you brought in our experience, right, with Audrey.
Is this thing two?
Huh?
This is your thing,
thing
two?
One,
yeah,
thing two.
this thing two. So thing two, when the coroner called me about dear old Uncle Richard.
God rest his soul.
I was holding a conference call with my team at work. And I got the same number twice, and I answered it the second time, put my team on hold, and I answered the call. I don't know why I answered the call, but you talk about these things that protect you. So the second he said, is this Dennis Browens? And I said, yes, it is. And he identified himself as a member of the Howard County Coroner's Office. Mm-hmm. What do you think I did?
You started to go into shock until you heard it wasn't one of the kids. The difference is, I'm 100%. I think how you and I would deal with that situation is different. I'm saying she was very immature, very underdeveloped mentally. Mm-hmm. And we've all said, we can all agree across the table, this family is fucked up.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
There's something wrong with all of them and everything that's going on. And I think the combination of them is what led to her making the wrong choices. They were the wrong choices. She 100% is guilty of not calling 911, not starting CPR, not doing any of that, and allowing someone to take her. But he is a former cop who has experienced with death and tragedy, even though it's not his own. I can say the same thing for him. He is not in the right state of mind. Could be.
But if you ask yourself the question, oh, my daughter can't go to jail, but my granddaughter is dead. Now, hear me out. He is the main witness in the jury to put his daughter to death.
The grand jury, the
indictment to have his daughter.
He is the only witness that is not a.
Yeah, but he doesn't raise his hand and say, "Here, give me a shot, give me a chance," because when
I don't
you're
know
compelled,
But he goes on TV and says my daughter doesn't have anything to do with it, and then goes to the grand jury and says
he doesn't go to the grand jury. He's compelled by the grand jury.
But he did. But if he really thought his daughter didn't do anything,
why was
and
he
it's
the
not his
only
fault.
witness that wasn't a detective?
Well, how do we know what he said to the
We
grand
don't.
jury?
We don't.
How do we know that he didn't go in and say no?
The only thing we do know factually is the grand jury had one witness that was not a cop, not a detective, and it was him.
And it wasn't
one witness.
It wasn't her mom
against her.
Right. Well, when you, but
I don't know. I don't know that there's
call
anything.
witnesses for people, though.
I don't know that
they do.
Well, they don't call and say, "Here, come in and give me your."
I guess they do.
They can bring.
They can bring whoever.
They can ask anybody.
Here's the other thing. Exactly. So here's the thing.
But he goes in there against her.
But
they
if
say
he's compelled to.
That's the reason they indicted her.
He's compelled
because of
his testimony.
Because of his testimony.
But it isn't because his testimony was like he went in, I got something I've got to say and get this off my chest.
No, but then he turns around on TV and says the complete opposite of what he says to the grand jury. That's what I'm saying.
But you don't know what he said to the grand jury.
Yes, because they say it on there.
They say several times they indicted
her
based off
on
of his testimony.
Based on his
to
testimony,
put his daughter to death, and you're thinking that he's scared that she's going to go to jail?
You don't know what the testimony was,
yes,
though.
They indicted her. They found her guilty because of his testimony.
They found it
appropriate to put charges, to bring charges. An indictment is not a sentence.
Yes, not a sentence.
No, but it says, hey, there's compelling evidence that this person could be culpable for
an action. And if you listen to the documentary, it says they indicted her on his testimony.
And I think what they're mostly focused on, the decision the grand jury also had to make.
And I guarantee you could find the grand jury's shit out there.
The decision the grand jury had to make is there enough evidence to go after her for the death penalty?
So here's another
because
question.
they can also, in states with death penalty or not, they can charge someone for murder and not seek the death penalty.
Here's a question.
Or they can, and I think that was a big part of the
Here's a
grand jury.
question. Have you this documentary, and just be honest, is it fair and balanced?
No.
Which way is it leaning?
Her.
Of course it's leaning her way because they have another one that leans the other way.
So,
I mean,
but Hollywood has a way, like you put her on and you watch her cry and you watch her adjust and think and ponder.
See, I think it's different for me because I didn't say guilty.
I did.
I know you did. But listening to her story, okay, and when they were in the trial, all of this came out. He found her wet bot. They said that, right? And she's in the woods.
Here's the thing: she got acquitted of this based on Jose Baez doing a masterful job.
Absolutely.
Of saying she drowned in the pool, and now she's saying no, she didn't drown in the pool.
That is no, she doesn't.
She absolutely does say that.
She says she wanted to believe that she was still okay.
Yeah, but she said she didn't drown in the pool.
I
watched that myself.
She thinks that her dad did something else. She thinks that her dad put her in the pool to cover up what else he did.
I believe
all of that though.
Here's what I think. You want to know what I think?
Please.
The dad molested his daughter her entire life.
Casey.
Yeah, and then her brother did it. Okay. He has this granddaughter. He says he likes the sweet smell of her.
All right, hold on. Let's hold that.
Hang on. Wait, I just want to say, I think that he did what he was doing. She was not being quiet.
Kaylee wasn't being quiet?
Kaylee's
2 years old.
What does that have to do with anything?
Like, I think it's
if she doesn't want to do something that someone's making her do, try to make our 2-year-old, try to make Isabel go do something you don't want to do.
I think it's a stretch.
See,
you don't think that he would have molested her because she was 2?
Yes, I don't.
You remember Tiffany Hamilton?
Yeah, she was 8.
No, she was 3 when it started.
That's so. But here's the thing about all of that aside. Why is it coming out 11 years after she's convicted or after she's acquitted?
I think she has I said it in the beginning, right now she has a better ear based off of where society is. Because society right now is pushing we believe victims.
All of the trauma.
I do believe that.
This is why the woke bullshit.
No, it's not. Not for everybody.
I think it needs to be a balance. So what I have gained from this documentary is that in 2008 the detectives looked at Casey Anthony and said guilty, and they stopped doing their fucking job.
Well, they didn't stop doing their job. She continued. They said specifically, "Hey, help us out. If she drowned in a pool, tell us. If you want me to help you, hey, my dad sexually molested me for the last."
Is that super easy for people to say?
I don't know. Is it?
No.
Okay, but if you're fighting for your life, is it?
But she's not fighting for her life because she thinks her dad is going to control the narrative. Her dad is going to get her out of trouble because he has always. He has made her lie her entire life about what he does, what her mom does, what goes on in their house. Do I believe that's true? Absolutely. Look at him.
I don't know.
Watch his manual.
Here's what we know. Here's what we know. Let's listen to actual testimony that's actually said and not conjecture. Here we go.
Do you have an opinion as to the manner of death in this case?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
Homicide.
Who is that?
And some evidence submitted in the investigation of the death of one Kaylee Marie Anthony.
Yes, it did.
And was that in the form of some duct tape that was reported to you as having been obtained from the remains?
Yes, it was 3 pieces of duct tape.
Can you pause it real quick?
This is the trunk line.
Yep.
If you have skeletal remains and you don't have a stab wound, a gunshot, nothing, you can't test how they died, suffocation, poisoning, none of that, because you have skeletal remains, which her dad is a cop. Guess who knows that? Okay. And you find duct tape on person. She's in a trash bag 1. Obviously, that's the reason it looks like it's homicide, because she's thrown on the side of the road into the woods in a trash bag. That's the reason it looks homicidal, not because of anything done to her physical body.
Well, let's listen more.
Liner taken from Casey Anthony's Pontiac. On the carpet, what looks like a flaky substance, small stains, and on the back of that liner, a series of larger stains. Using a process called laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy, or LIBS for short, investigators from the Body Farm in Tennessee concluded that the evidence from the trunk is consistent with a decompositional event of human origin. Photograph.
My granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. Her mother finally admitted that she's been missing. Okay, what is here now? Okay, what is the address that you're calling from? We're talking about a 3-year-old little girl. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her. Your daughter admitted that the baby is where? But the babysitter took her a month ago that my daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. And she just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car. Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name? Kaylee. Caylee. Anthony. Kaylee Anthony? Yes. Okay.
So I guess there's your answer.
Yeah, the
on
5
what
weeks.
she'd been doing. She'd been saying she was looking
for her,
or she was
No.
avoiding her.
Yeah, the mother couldn't find her daughter as well.
Yeah.
So Cindy couldn't find Casey because Casey went to the boyfriend's house.
Right. Which is her reasoning is because her dad told her, go do what you do and it'll be okay.
Well, that obviously isn't what she does.
And she does. Casey Anthony goes out, stays away until her dad tells her, she's supposed to get the okay from her dad to come back.
I've never heard that.
She says it in the documentary.
Casey says it. There's nothing other than what Casey's word.
Right. There's nothing other than Casey's word. Is it wrong? Yes. Is she guilty of neglect and trying to find out what happened to her daughter? Abso-fucking-lutely.
So let me ask this question. She lives in this house where she's molested, she's mistreated, she's controlled, and then she disappears for a month and is okay. Why doesn't she just disappear for the rest of her life with her child? If she had a place to go, why didn't she go?
She couldn't live there. There was her boyfriend who she had just met.
Roommate.
They were fairly new, and they had 2 roommates.
And if you ask all of her people that she hung out with said she keeps a backpack. She has Kaylee. She takes Kaylee everywhere. Da 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 da. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe she's guilty of murdering her child, but she is guilty of not following through on figuring out what happened to her daughter, and she's listening to her dad. I truly believe that. Is it psychotic? Yes. But I don't think she murdered her daughter.
Before you played that, everyone is talking about, obviously Casey did it because of all of her lying about her job, her lying about the nanny. She lies. Therefore, she is the person we're looking at. The cop even said it, the detective. I don't really care for him. He came out and said, yeah, of course she was the one she was looking at. She's the one that kept lying to us. Yep. But how many times did George lie? Oh. And nobody looked at him.
I don't know that no one looked at him.
They did, because they never got his. It would have solved it on whether or not George says he wasn't home when Casey supposedly took Kaylee away from the house, and then George left. Casey says, no, he was there, and I was there when she died. If they had ever pulled they have Casey's phone records showing her pings of her being at the house. They have his phone records, but never pulled location. Why did they never pull location to see if he was at that house or not? Well, super simple.
Let's just say that. You know where they did pull pings from are the nightclubs she was spending her time in.
Absolutely wrong.
And the time she was spending at bars and getting tattoos
wrong in
this 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Absolutely.
You're
it's
right.
Disgusting.
They didn't need pings because they have pictures and videos.
Right, because she was trying to pretend everything was okay.
What her father told her to do. He said, live your life.
Once again, we don't know. And if her life was that Kaylee is always with me and her dad says, live your life, doesn't hold water, ladies.
But listen, if you are abused your entire life and your dad runs your family, okay? Your dad runs your family. Mm-hmm. You're going to listen to your father, right? And this is a deeper psychological battle with her father because he is abusive, right? He says everything, this is her saying this, but this is why I believe it's true. Live your life. Everything's going to be okay. Kaylee's going to be okay. I will let you know, right? So she goes on. She stays. He says, stay away. Don't come back to the house, whatever. So
I didn't hear that.
She says
it's her version.
It's her version.
I don't even remember hearing that.
It's her version.
It comes out in the later one. And again, I think this is a huge missing piece because my thought is she went into shock. That's why she didn't think to call 911. She didn't think to do anything in that moment. And she's trying to convince herself that Kaylee is okay, but she's trying to convince herself by going out and doing things she didn't get to do when Kaylee was alive.
Yeah.
That to me is a missing piece in her story.
Like
absolutely. Yes.
The partying and stuff. She couldn't do that while Kaylee was.
That's what he.
But yes, the tattoo. It's all fucked up. She is wrong in that. She is 100% wrong, and she should be held liable. But to not look at her father,
to not even investigate him,
he says to the police, in one of the shots in there, he's sitting down and he's running the interview that they're doing on him. He's running it.
Well, he's not running it.
Oh, he's 100% running.
But he's
not running it. He's got training.
He says, we need to work together as a puzzle to find out what happened to Kaylee. My daughter's not giving the full answer.
That right there is that is textbook. That is textbook training that he was done when he was a cop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can see when they're talking to him, they're not asking a lot of questions. He's saying a lot of shit.
Yeah, they go on to say the defense comes out and says the police, most of the information that the police had came from George. So anything that they based their evidence, their findings, their conclusions, all traced back to what George said. Mm-hmm. So his word was taken as gospel despite him continuing to lie. That's my problem with it. Detective says we can't get anything from Casey because she's a liar, but George is on testimony saying, I've never had an affair. I've never stolen this $60,000, whatever. I mean, that I don't know why that was a big part of it, but he is lying. On record lying. He goes in on record to the cops and says, no, I've never had an affair. And then his fucking mistress that he had at the time that his granddaughter was missing
doesn't matter.
Testifies.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Does not matter. That doesn't matter. The fact that this man had an affair with someone has not, and that he didn't tell the police, hey, I'm having doesn't matter if they
It doesn't
ask.
matter. Lying is lying. If you look at it that way, yes.
No. You can't expect this man to sit across from detectives that say, have you ever had an affair? And I mean, those people on that side of the table, they don't have anything about your life.
So when you put your hand on the Bible and you sit on the stand and you say, I've never had an affair on God, and then your mistress walks in, you shouldn't be held in contempt of court?
He didn't testify in court. His statement, his testimony to the detectives. There's a difference there. But
there's not a difference because here it is. Here's the thing. Here's my question. The fact that he banged some chick on the side.
It has nothing to do with it.
Does that mean that he will molest or kill
That's not the point
child?
I'm making. That's not the point I'm making. The point is he was looked at as constantly telling the truth when there are documented lies.
Yeah, but
nothing
these
else
documented lies are not in there. They
not the lies of.
It isn't that the chick he was having an affair with had the child or had taken the child or something like
She
that.
does make mention something of while
This-
Kaylee was gone, and he said something.
This
Can't remember
guy
what it was.
he's self-preservation. Like, and it's not a. Sure, is it despicable? Yes.
Self-preservation to keep his
image,
but the way he wants it.
My point is,
Not even an affair.
They disregarded everything that Casey
They
said.
disregarded that he had an affair.
No, they disregarded everything Casey said because she lied about where she worked and she lied about having a nanny. 2 huge fucking lies, 2 huge red flags. But George is also over here telling detectives she's lying and then going on news and saying she's not. He's telling detectives, no, I've never had an affair, but he's having an affair. It's not about the affair. It's not about that he lied to his wife. It's not about that. It's about he is also telling lies in this situation that is not helping, and yet he is looked at as God.
Yeah. He goes on and he says, I don't think my daughter's giving you the full story. Then he goes on TV. My daughter had nothing to do with this.
And again, these are small pieces, but these are things that he's saying that are not adding up.
If you see interviews with him,
and he was never questioned or looked at. And I wish he had been more, and maybe we could have gotten a little more information about what actually happened.
He talks to Dr. Phil.
He talks to Dr. Phil, and he was, for the crash, he was fucked up, and he admits to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But
he says, I hope everybody can forgive me. And his wife says, forgive you for what?
He does
forgive
say
you for what I did to this. Forgive me for what I did to
Forgive me
this.
for everything that I did to this family.
Well,
and then
I mean,
and then he
they're
like
going
comes
through-
to his senses.
they're
No, this was
going
way
through
after.
a lot, though. I mean,
But every interview with him, if you look up every interview that he does on television, my daughter has nothing to do with this. Tells the police she's lying. My daughter couldn't do this, and then contradicts himself. He goes to a grand jury and testifies against her, then gets on TV and says she has nothing to do with it.
Again, saving face for their family, I don't know, but he's not staying straight across everything.
No.
He is lying somewhere and should have been questioned further. Maybe if we had questioned him further, we'd be able to fucking completely rule all this out and this documentary would be nothing.
well, I don't know what
I just
it
wish
would
that it had-
have to do with Casey being innocent or guilty.
Because I think he had so he was either at the house or not at the house when Casey's saying that Kaylee died.
And we've gotten both of those answers.
If they had pulled his cell phone and it pinged at his house or it pinged at his job, I don't know where he worked. He
10
supposedly
minutes
worked
away.
just a few minutes down the road.
Yeah.
But was
And-
the ping closer to the house or work?
Right.
What does so?
Because
It
he's
sounds like
saying
they
he
did
was at
ping it
work.
then.
No, he didn't.
No.
No, they didn't.
No,
So it
they
came
have
out.
a- they
The
How do we
detective-
know?
The detective came out and said, we have his phone records. We do have his phone records. And
But we
Casey
never
said,
checked his
Where's
locations.
his location? Is it close to work
No,
or close
not
to home?
Casey didn't say that.
So
Whoever
we
was
don't.
interviewing.
So he says he wasn't home.
Yes.
Yeah, he says he was. He said
He says he was at work.
He said his story, I believe, was that Casey left to go to work with Kaylee. He said, bye, see you later, and then he left to go to work. And that was all he knew about it. Casey is stating that she didn't feel good. She didn't go into work that day. She fell back asleep with Kaylee, and that George came into the room, woke her up, that George was in fact there, but had to go to work later.
There's
Had to
also
go
a-
back to work.
There is also a Google search. There is also a Google search
Yes, using
right during
Casey's
this.
about suffocation.
Chloroform.
Case no best way to self-suffocate.
Best
Best way to suffocate or
It
something.
was
I don't think you want to self-suffocate.
Well,
no, it was
that's-
something
that
about
was-
suffocation. Using Casey's login, Casey says everybody has access to everybody's login for the house computer. But she's also, again, where was George? Was he even at the house? Let's rule him out.
Yeah.
Let's find his location. That's what detectives should have been saying.
If you were going to check one person's location,
right, why did you?
why would you not
why
check
was
everybody
Cindy-
in the family's
why was-
location?
so there are all of the physical evidence at the crime scene of where, or not at the crime scene, at where they found Casey's body linked to the house. Great. That gives us 3 suspects, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a detective and you find a body and the duct tape matches the house, this laundry bag matches the house,
The trash bags.
there was something
All right.
else.
All right. Let's everybody take a breath. So everybody, there's obviously going to have to be a two-parter.
Probably.
Not probably.
I forgot. Jamie has
Yeah.
to go to work.
Yeah, Jamie's got to go to work. This is definitely a two-parter.
We're going to make her mad before she goes to work.
But here's the thing.
Can I just finish my thought?
Sure.
If you have 3 people that live in the house and the house is
You already
linked
finished this
to
thought.
the...
No.
No, I didn't.
Let her finish. Shut up.
Why were not all 3 looked at? Only one of
And
Exactly
I
what you
believe
said.
the mom was at work.
That's exactly what you
And she's a nurse. She was a nurse, I believe.
I don't know.
If
I don't remember them talking about that at all.
And she said her mom was a nurse. Her dad, she was the breadwinner. Her dad had a security job, but then didn't work once they got to Florida. He was a police officer. They moved to Florida. He was going to be a security guard. Then he didn't have a job anymore. He wasn't the breadwinner. Her mom was. And she said something about her being a nurse. So they probably checked that her mom was at work. He said he was at work.
He said he had to go to work at 3 or something like that, but this supposedly
All right,
happened before then.
let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, and then we'll roll out. Okay? So,
Roll your eyes again. I'm going to smack your face.
well, here's the thing. You say, why didn't they look at all 3? And sure, maybe they should have looked at everybody.
100%.
And I'm sure that there was more looked at than we know, right? But here's the thing. You have 2 grandparents that are wearing shirts that are going on television that are saying, where's our grandchild? And then you have the mother who you've now seen video of and pictures of partying, getting tattoos, lying about nannies, lying about where you work. And regardless of the rest of that, why she's wearing she has a tattoo that basically says living my life free.
No, it says good life.
Okay, good life. Good life.
But
Still no bueno.
I'm gonna throw your comment back at you. We all know somebody in this room that's really good at making pictures look good
Well, that's funny
and going
that you're
out
saying
out
that
on TV
because
looking
I'm
good.
the one that said it to you
That's
about
what
this.
That's what I just said.
So here's the thing, though. She's doing all of this and looking very suspicious and very guilty.
And I think that her dad set her up to do it.
He is
No.
for
To
some time in my life he has been God.
I think she
30 days, you think? 30
Listen, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that I truly believe
blind obedience.
Blind obedience.
No,
that
I think she was in denial.
She
And
was.
If I just do everything to keep myself busy, I
but
won't
for-
think about it.
for
It's-
her
Except
entire
for this baby that I was holding.
Hang on.
It's stupid.
For her entire life, who ran the house? Who made all the decisions? Who made everybody do everything?
Who
her
hurt
father.
who hurt her continually and said, if you just shut up and do what I say it'll be okay.
It'll be fine. She's told. Now, should she have done any of it? Absolutely fucking not. If I was a mother, but I also wasn't abused my entire life. My parent, look.
And I think we have to also consider her age.
We're going to bleep this out.
No, we're not.
Okay, so
he says I got too much shit
I
to
was
do
a
to edit this bitch.
I was a people pleaser in my life. How long did it take me? And I wasn't abused, but I would be honest, I was afraid of my mom. I didn't want to disappoint her. Think about that. How long did it take me to stand up and say I'm my own person?
2 years ago.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with you being.
No,
there's nothing
there's not.
wrong with wanting to be.
But someone
your
who
own
is
person.
psychologically damaged and abused, and her dad runs her life. It's not. I'm not giving her an out or saying it's okay. I'm saying that he takes the daughter. She doesn't see her anymore. It's not okay. But he says, if you stay away, do what you do, I will contact you and bring you back. If this is true, I can see her
following that in blind hope.
Sure.
in blind hope that her
Blind hope
dad will
this
fix
person
the issue.
that we've just watched tell the story. We see how intelligent she is. We see how smart she is. We see how good of an actress she is. And she tells the world, I held the lifeless body of my daughter.
Absolutely.
And she believed that with no intervention from paramedics, doctors, Jesus didn't come. And she believed that her dad was going to. Did they watch the movie Pet Sematary?
No,
What is the? Tell me. I don't care what kind of. I don't care what kind of shock you think you're in. You're not in shock for 30 days that my baby that I held in my arms, I would be more
No, I
likely,
think you're-
if I held one of our kids in my arms, I would be more likely to eat a bullet.
Right. That's
Okay.
again.
And
I know what we would do would be completely different. I think that in that moment, she had a second, her instincts, everything fucking failed her. She shut down. Then she goes on. A week goes past. Now what do I do? Now what do I do? She doesn't know what to do. If she calls the cops now and says she's missing or she's dead, she's going to look guilty. So then she goes into, if I just pretend
I think
nothing
all of
is
that is
wrong,
true.
if I just pretend nothing is wrong, if I just pretend nothing's wrong, then all of this will go away and she's going to grieve in silence. Grief is fucking weird.
And if her dad was there, being a cop, you know how long it takes for a body to decompose. You know how long it takes for you not to be found guilty of anything, to dump the body and save face for your family. Somebody
but come
somebody kidnapped my grandchild and now she's dead.
Dear old Uncle Richard was still intact for the most part at
Yes.
30 days.
So 30 days. Why
was
was
6
her
weeks.
body decomposed? How was her entire body decomposed?
That's my point.
Well,
I think
why
size- I think
did she
size
go?
would matter in
Why
that.
did he just toss her on the side of the road? We could have
16 houses down.
Being a policeman,
16 houses
wouldn't
down.
it be a shit ton more intelligent
that part does not
to
make
get in
sense.
your car and drive
He
to
got in Casey's car.
Idaho,
Drive a day away.
and bury her in the desert somewhere,
Well,
and
because
then drive back?
he had to be at work. He had to create his story that he wasn't at the house. He did. I think Google search, I remember the Google search of suffocation was at like 204.
Nope,
And he
251 because he had to be at work at 3.
at 3.
He had to be at work at 3. A Google search happened.
And her body was dumped on the way to his work,
Here's the deal.
supposedly.
Just quick math. Now, these numbers aren't exact. I don't want to proclaim that they are.
Give me the
If I
number.
listen to everything you guys are trying to sell me right now, why did it take her 5,110 days? 5,110, give or take 500
Give or take a leap year.
at least.
Because she's got a more pliable ear right now. If she had come out 2 years after this,
I think
she was
still in hiding.
She was still in hiding.
Is OJ guilty or innocent?
I never watched any of it. I have no idea.
Oh, guilty all day.
All day.
I mean, that is a lot different.
It's not a lot different.
It kind
No.
of.
So
Not a lot different.
I mean, listen.
I think she is coming out now because she does
Time
have
to get paid, and she knows she'll have a sympathetic ear with abuse.
I think she's got a
and
sympathetic
she knows
ear.
that she'll be listened to because everybody has their trauma.
Yep,
and
that's
everybody
the
has
buzzword right
That's
now.
exactly why it is.
Okay, say I never watched this. Okay, say I never watched this.
You'd be a lot smarter.
From day one, I questioned the grandparents in general
They should have called you.
because
Continue.
because you can't look how many times he flip-flop back and forth, and when he's sitting there talking,
He's talking about the cute little top she was wearing.
no,
I don't want to talk
I
about
mean,
that because it's not fair.
He's
to
here.
talk
They're
about
talking on a jail call, and her mom's on phone. Where's Kaylee? Where's Kaylee? This is him.
Now, I am against
The
you,
video.
and I am against you when he gets oddly specific about weird shit.
But
About
he
things
gets
he likes
oddly
about her.
spigot,
How
and
she
he's
smells in a
oddly
shirt that she's wearing.
oddly calm.
Well,
Oddly,
you guys are talking about different things.
no, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Is he acts oddly calm? Where's Kaylee? Where's Kaylee?
All right.
Now, okay, sorry.
All right, let's do this.
And then they bought a super expensive boat.
Wait,
And they're
not a
out.
smart move. I don't agree with
Yeah.
that. So here's the deal.
Neither
We're going
is
to cap
partying.
it for today. All right? So we're going to get out of here so Jamie can get to work. So we're going to do this is
In
part
6 minutes.
1 of Casey Anthony.
Come back to hear us fight some more.
We'll probably put out a midweek podcast if we can to close it up.
Ooh.
All right? Because a week in between's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Can't
So-
do Wednesday
Why not?
because
Because why?
Because
the
I'm
challenges.
gonna go over and help Jamie with her house.
Oh no! And Tuesday I have to work.
What type of work are you doing?
Bar.
The same work she's supposed to be doing in 6 minutes.
Thank you all.
Could you please
I hope
show me her tits again?
I wasn't quite done looking at them. I'd like to get a mental picture now, so I can remember them a little while. When I think of you, I'll think of them. My favorite set there's ever been. When I get home, they'll be in my hand.
I want to know if you can take the sound off and only get Braden singing it.
I wish I could.
And just
You
him singing
absolutely
it.
should be able to isolate
I
that.
can't
Give me the
because we
instrumental.
don't have extra channels.
Just put the words
Oh, I can
up.
find the instrumental of that.
Just
probably.
put the words
Oh,
up. I'll
man.
All right,
do
so
that.
no disrespect to Kaylee in that. Just needed to kind of bring everybody back down.
Yeah.
Tensions are pretty
Oh,
high,
yeah.
and the Every Joke Has a Little Truth.
Well,
studio.
because you're dumb.
Well, regardless, there is a 3-year-old little girl that should be about my age.
Have you guys
now.
heard about the case that's going on right now?
All right, Jamie, give us final thought. Get us out of here.
Thank you all for listening. I hope you don't take Denny's side because he's an idiot. Take Amanda and I's side. Thank you. Bye.
Braden, final thought.
I don't think you're an idiot. I think there's a lot of things that are about this. I think there's a lot of things about this that we're going to do our best to uncover. But at the same time, regardless, it is still a very tragic event, and I wish that we can get to the bottom of it.
We'll get close in our little world, baby.
So while I agree with some of Jamie, I don't think Jamie and I are exactly on the same side, but I think
you're
there is a lot more to be considered here than what was considered back then.
Agreed. You all know what I think. In the meantime, head on over to thankgodcancersavedourdivorce.com. We'll post a few more things over there. Listen for us next week. Chico lives.
Y'all crazy bitch.
D-I-V-O-R-C-E.
You gotta fight.
Didn't get enough of us this week, did you? Jamie, where can they email us?
Oh, you can email us at tgcsod@gmail.com.
Social media?
You can find us on Facebook. Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce.
Come on, there's a couple more.
Instagram at TGCSOD and Twitter at TGCSOD.
There it is, folks. Track us down.